Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we got a couple of very interesting bodybuilding updates. The first one is a little update from Nick Walker, a physique update, and also the video that he made in which he explains why he chose to work with Kyle Wilkes, his new coach. Now, whenever I make a video about Nick Walker, and I made a lot of them lately, because simply he is the hot topic right now and I can't just ignore it. I do get a lot of comments, people saying that I don't care about Nick Walker, but I also get the most views on Nick Walker videos. So I guess it's only the vocal minority that is hating on Nick, and a lot of you guys still care about what Nick Walker is doing, as I do myself. I find Nick one of the most interesting bodybuilders of today's bodybuilding, of modern bodybuilding. Even though what happened this year and last year, I still find him interesting. So in this video, he kinda goes on to explain why he chose Kyle Wilkes. So let me play a short version of this video for you guys right here, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Me and Kyle have had a very, very long friendship, I think since 2018. That relationship just started with a simple training session, and he pushed me to a limit that honestly I didn't even know truly existed at the time. We would train every single day for probably a good 3 to 4 months straight. And within those times, you know, obviously he got to see kind of what my diet was, what my supplements were, how I trained, and, you know, he saw how my body would respond to certain things. You know, and he also came to 2019 USA's with me when Matt couldn't. And, you know, he was pretty much the in-person eye, you know, for Matt. So they would communicate back and forth. So during that phase, you know, he obviously just kind of got to see, you know, what worked well with my body, what didn't, how things responded, how things didn't respond. And obviously now here we are with like 4 or 5 years later. I would say he's way more advanced at this point. You know, and obviously he coaches a lot of influencers, right? And people see that, want to make a comment, blah, blah, blah. But I think Kyle's very smart. Kyle also always had like that calming effect on me. I like to have somebody that can have, you know, that calming effect on me, keep me chill, keep me relaxed, and not the other way around. And Kyle is one of those very few people that can do that for me. We both know what's kind of, I guess, at stake here, you know, and he's ready to take on the challenge. I'm ready to take on the challenge, you know, and he knows me very, very well. And he knows I don't like change very much. He knows I'm very not adaptive to a lot of things. You know, when I'm in my structure, I'm in my routine, I don't like to go out of it. So, you know, one thing, you know, he said to me is, you need to be the student again. Like, you just let us do our thing and just follow it to a T and you will be perfectly fine. And I just said, you know what? Fine, I will. I check in with Kyle twice a week right now, Tuesdays and Fridays. And, you know, he's very happy with how things are going. I'm very happy with how things are progressing.
All right, interesting. So apparently Kyle Wilkes and Nick Walker were friends all the way since 2018. They trained together for a couple of months back then. And Kyle was on the field with Nick Walker at the USA's, NPC USA's, before he turned pro because Matt wasn't able to be there. And Kyle was kind of involved in the process with Matt. He was his eyes, basically, and he knew what these guys were doing back in the day. And of course, they were friends, they were talking about everything. So Kyle is kind of in tune what Nick is doing, what he has been doing so far. And also Nick believes that Kyle is very smart, a good coach. He came up since then as a coach, and now they're working together. They're working very closely. Kyle went to Nick for a couple of days recently to train with him, to maybe work on that relationship a little bit more. And now they're working together, and Nick seems very confident, very comfortable working with this guy. What Nick also says, and it's very interesting and very important, I think, for Nick, is that Kyle has a calming effect on Nick. And of course, I don't know Nick Walker personally, but from what I saw so far on different podcasts and so on, I feel like Nick is that personality. He needs somebody to calm him down. And also, since Kyle doesn't have a lot of top clients as of right now, maybe if he has great success with Nick, he's probably gonna get a couple of guys, unless these guys agreed on, Kyle not taking any top guys in the future as long as he's working with Nick. But if they didn't, then Kyle is gonna become one of the better coaches with Nick Walker if they have success. But right now, Nick feels confident, he feels comfortable, and he is happy with the progress they made so far. I think this is definitely the right decision for Nick. I mean, yeah, I kind of wanted to see Nick with somebody like more popular. It would be more interesting, to see what somebody like Patrick Tour or Milos Harchev or Han Rambod or Stefan Kinsel could do with somebody so genetically blessed as Nick Walker. But we'll see what this guy will do with Nick. And also Nick says that Kyle told him that he needs to be the student again. He needs to basically shut up and listen. And I was kind of worried that he's not going to have the authority over Nick because he is not a top-level coach. But if Nick accepted this and said he's going to actually follow everything to the T and just, not suggest too many things and not ask too many questions, then I think this can actually work out very well as long as Kyle actually has the authority over him. But we'll see how this will work out. But I think it does make a lot of sense why he chose Kyle Wilkes, and I think it's going to be a fruitful partnership. Now, here is a physique update that Nick posted from today. And I saw this and I was like, what the hell are those arms, man? Like, these are, without a doubt, the biggest, the best arms in bodybuilding right now. What are the biggest arms in the history of bodybuilding? Maybe Michal Križo can challenge Nick Walker, but that's about it. And Nick said multiple times that he lost a lot of muscle during his Mr. Olympia prep. Where did he lose the muscle? I mean, yeah, in those couple of physique updates, it seemed like he lost some fullness. Maybe he lost some glycogen, maybe some water weight because he went off the gear, I'm assuming. But I don't think he lost any tissue. I think he's as massive as usual. And he's probably going to get even bigger now, especially because he believes he lost muscle. So now he's going to push for more growth. How big will he get? Does he need to get any bigger? No. What he needs to worry about, the only one thing he needs to worry about is getting that midsection down and get it in control and just work on bringing up the quads or the quad details. And that's about it. I don't think he needs to get any bigger, but right now he's definitely looking massive, and I definitely don't think he lost any muscle, man. Like maybe some fullness, some glycogen, some water once again, and just the 3D hard look. But size-wise, tissue-wise, it's all there. It's all there. Nick doesn't need to worry. It's all there. It's looking freaky. It's looking massive. So I am very excited to see what Nick will do next year. But at this point, it seems like he's going to bring something special to whichever show he decides to do. He says he has a couple of shows in plans. Since it's not going to be the Arnold Classic, I'm assuming it might be something like Pittsburgh Pro, maybe New York Pro, maybe Detroit Pro, since it's also around that time. And he's probably going to win a couple of those shows unless Martin Fitzwater does all of them. Then I'm not sure who's going to win. Because Martin said he's not doing the Arnold Classic, but I'm pretty sure he's doing Pittsburgh Pro. And if he's doing Pittsburgh Pro, he might jump into Detroit as well. And he placed second at the New York Pro last year, so he might do New York as well. So it would be really awesome to see the rematch between Nick Walker and Martin Fitzwater. That would be really, really amazing. Let's assume Nick Walker improves, and his midsection control is perfect. Martin already improved since the Detroit and New York to the Mr. Olympia, but if he improves a little bit more as well, who do you guys have winning between those two guys in 2025? Tell me down below. Alright, the next thing we got is extremely interesting and funny in a way. So, we all heard what all these Matt Jansen clients had to say about Matt after the whole fiasco with him, but we haven't really heard anything from this top 10 Olympian, Charles Griffen, who went on this podcast right here and said a couple of very interesting things. So he was asked basically what he thinks about Matt Jansen and all that happened with him, all these former clients of his blaming him for not looking their best and this and that. And Charles kind of tried to defend Matt. But what he said is probably one of the worst things anybody said about Matt so far. So let me play it for you, and then we're going to talk about it.
So when these people try to blame a coach for blaming a coach for this, blaming a coach for that, blaming a coach for that, that's bull. You're an adult. You could do what the coach says. You could decide not to do what the coach says, or you could go to a different coach. What Matt's protocols he gave me, I decided not to do those protocols. You know what I mean? The amounts. Like the
Okay.
amounts. On my mother's grave, rest in peace. The most tests I've ever done is 750 milligrams of test. That's all I've ever done. I haven't did any more tests. I'm supposed to be doing 2-3 times more than that. I'm an adult. I decided not to do that.
Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, all right. So I heard rumors about Matt Jansen and high doses. We all know that Dallas McCarver died working with Matt Jansen. I never really blamed Matt for that. You never know. I mean, young people die all the time from heart attacks who are not bodybuilders. So maybe it was something genetic. Who the hell knows what Dallas did on his free time? You can't really blame a coach for that. And we all know that Nick is probably blasting it like a maniac. You don't get to be the biggest bodybuilder in the world while doing mild cycles. Now, is that Matt Jansen's fault? I mean, you chose him. If you go with him and you know that he's a high dose guy, that's on you. And if you go with somebody who is super mild with the doses, like for example, I talked to Patrick Moore, I wanted to work with him for my prep right now, but from what I heard from different clients, and he coached some people over here from Balkans, and he's apparently extremely mild. Like he's not even doing any harsh compounds. I didn't want to do that. I mean, maybe someday I'm going to do it, but like this year I wanted to go a little bit harder. I'm not doing what Charles is saying that Matt told him to do, but I didn't want to go super mild. So it's up to you. It's up to an athlete who you're going to go with. Just like Charles says. And if a coach gives you something crazy, you don't have to do it. And what Charles was trying to say here, he was never blaming Matt for that. Like, he listened to him about everything else, but the doses, he never went above 750 mg. And apparently he was supposed to do 3 times that. Probably more. 3 times that, that's 2,250 milligrams. And I've heard people take way more than that, like upwards to 3, 4, even 5 grams of test only. So I'm pretty sure Charles actually didn't want to say that it was like 4 or 5 times the amount, but he definitely did say that Matt is a high dose guy, and from all the guys who were blaming Matt so far, nobody mentioned anything about that. Quinton didn't say anything about that. He was just talking about how Matt wasn't focused on coaching, on him, how he doesn't know what he's doing, stuff like that. He probably didn't want to say anything about the doses because Quinton listened to him. He probably took whatever Matt told him to take. So this is new. This is basically the first time I'm hearing something like this directly from a top bodybuilder who Matt was coaching, a top Olympian, that he wasn't willing to do what Matt told him to do as far as the doses. So I'm guessing Charles wanted to help Matt by saying that it's not his fault, that it's the athlete's fault because we're all adults. He kinda bashed him furthermore. Now we got the new information that Matt is giving all these guys very high dosages. Again, I heard worse stories, like for example when Dallas died, may he rest in peace by the way, when he died they did an autopsy on him and the results, his test levels showed that he was like on 5 to 8 grams, basically weekly. That's how high his test levels were at the time, so I don't know what Matt advised Charles to do exactly, but yeah, apparently based on what Charles says, Matt is an aggressive coach. And if that's how he got all these guys to be good, then that kind of makes him a bad coach. In fact, if your coach gets you to look your absolute best without sacrificing your health too much, I mean, it's extreme sport, of course. If you want to be a top open bodybuilder, you have to go to an extreme level. But if a coach gets you there without doing anything crazy, like, for example, Patrick Tour. I mean, I saw some cycles he sent me of some of his clients, very known clients. I'm not going to give you any names, but I saw what they're doing, and it's actually all very mild stuff. I was so surprised, but yeah, I guess it can be done that way. If a coach can get you in your best shape without sacrificing your health too much, that's a good coach. And if a coach gives you a ton of drugs and you end up looking good, then, I mean, you can make your own conclusion. Anyways, guys, tell me what do you think about this down below in the comment section. Oh, and finally, we got this little tease from Urs asking a question saying, what if? And he tags EVLS Prague Pro. Now, again, this is just a tease. The list for the Prague Pro is out. Urs is not on that list. As you can see, these are the top 6 guys that are highlighted here. Chris Bumstead, Sean Clarida, Martin Fitzwater, Horse Marcelo. His name is Marcelo De Angelis, and his nickname is Horse MD. I don't know why they're naming him like this, but whatever. Andre Presti is also jumping in, very surprisingly. I thought he was in his off-season. And of course, Christian Wolski. Emir Omeragic is not in for some reason. I don't know why. I guess he's also doing the next show. It's in Spain, not in Portugal, like I said. It's actually in Spain. The Big Man Pro Show, I believe it's called. But yeah, unfortunately, he's not doing the Prague Pro. I don't want to give my opinion on this for guys skipping this. The second most popular show of the year, basically, and the opportunity to stand next to Chris Bumstead on stage. But yeah, it is what it is. I guess these guys need a freaking manager, somebody who's going to tell them what to do career-wise. I mean, Emir is not going to win the Spain show against Akim Williams. It's not going to happen, so why not jump in and do this show if he's going to place second or fifth, sixth, whatever. Anyway, I mean, yeah, let's not even start about this. Anyways, Urs Kalicinski, he is not doing Prague Pro, but let's talk about what if. Well, as you can see in this video, I mean, he doesn't look very impressive, honestly. I think he's in his recovery phase. He doesn't look much bigger than he was at the Mr. Olympia. He doesn't seem to be in crazy condition. I mean, of course, it's a great conditioning for, 5 weeks after the show, and since he's probably in his health phase, but he doesn't look almost stage ready, and the show is right around the corner. Now, if he did this show, if he was actually focused on it after the Mr. Olympia, how would he do? Not that great, to be honest. Not good at all. I mean, if he did a full off-season, like that 1 year when he was like 280 in the off-season and in good conditioning, then maybe, sure, if he did a full prep for the Open, but, just right after the classic physique, no. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying that he could be a good open bodybuilder. I don't really see it, guys. Like, his arms are never going to be an open bodybuilder arms unless he puts a bunch of oil in them. He can do that, sure. He can definitely make them a lot bigger. I think a lot of open guys are doing that as well. I think Martin Fitzwater did that to his arms because his arms are basically double in size from last year and especially from a couple of years ago. So if Urs did that and if his back came up, and overall his upper body and just grew overall, then maybe. But if he did this show right now, I don't think he would be top 6. No, I don't think so. I think he is too small for these guys. I don't think he has really an open bodybuilder structure. I think he should definitely stick with the classic physique. Chris Bumstead could do well in open bodybuilding, and I think Mike Sommerfeld as well. Maybe some other guys too, maybe even Ramondino, but Urs, no. I mean, a lot of people think he would do well in the open. This is probably an unpopular opinion, but I don't see it. Again, if he did a full-blown off-season, like that 1 year, and got up to like 300 pounds, and, really focused on peaking for an open show, not for classic physique, not lower his weight, improve his arms and his back mainly, definitely put in some oil, some synthol in those arms, then maybe he could be decent, maybe he can win pro shows, but like to be top 10 Olympian in the open, I don't think so. I don't see it, guys. If you think otherwise, tell me down below, but I just don't see it. I think he doesn't have the structure for open. I think he's perfect in classic physique. Maybe he's going to win the classic physique Olympia next year. Who knows if Mike Sommerfeld is going to be able to get in the same shape, and peak the same way, the way he did this year. I mean, Urs did beat Mike many times before, so I think he should definitely stick with the classic. Again, if he did this year's Prague Pro after the Mr. Olympia, the way Chris Bumstead is doing it, I don't see him in top 6. But whatever you guys think, again, tell me down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. For more content like this, guys, stay tuned. Please subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. All the best and bye-bye.